Hi, I'm Patrick. This is August 3rd. It's great to see you here today. Many students tell me that cultural differences are a major problem when learning English. The culture is different in Western English-speaking countries than in your native country. It's important to become familiar with Western culture to fully understand the language. So we use daily news reports to help you understand the culture of English-speaking countries. It's effective and it works. My lessons only take about 15 minutes a day. Let's get started with our daily news lesson by reviewing today's news headlines. Number 1, the U.S. President and Vice President greeted Americans freed from detention as they arrived at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland. Number 2, masked assailants ransacked Venezuela's opposition leaders' headquarters. Number 3, Washington is concerned that recent events may complicate peace efforts in the Middle East. Number 4, hundreds were arrested in the protests across Nigeria that triggered curfews in several states. And number 5, rescuers in southern India continued search operations to find survivors after a landslide. Please don't forget to subscribe, and let's get to it.
President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris greeted Americans freed from detention as they arrived at Joint Base Andrews, Maryland, following the largest Russia-West prisoner swap since the Cold War. Ryan Chang from Reuters has more.
The freed Americans who landed at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland included former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan, who was serving a 16-year sentence on espionage charges that he denied. Also released was journalist Evan Gershkovich, a Wall Street Journal reporter who was accused in 2022 of spying for U.S. intelligence in Moscow, a charge he and his employer denied. The returnees also included Alsu Kermasheva, a Russian-American journalist sentenced to 6.5 years in prison, and Vladimir Kara-Murza, who was serving 25 years for treason after saying Putin was bombing Ukrainian homes, hospitals, and schools. The trade was negotiated in secrecy with Russia, Germany, and 3 other countries for more than a year.
Reuters correspondent Ryan Chang. Masked assailants ransacked Venezuela's opposition leaders' headquarters as post-election tensions mount amidst claims of fraud by President Nicolas Maduro. AP correspondent Karen Shamus has more.
The party of Maria Corina Machado said valuable documents and equipment were hauled away in the raid on her party headquarters. Images published by Machado's party on social media show several walls covered in black spray paint. The attack is the latest escalation of violence against opponents of Nicolás Maduro following the country's disputed presidential election. It comes as top officials, including Maduro himself, have threatened to arrest the opposition leader. Machado has gone into hiding as she seeks to rally Venezuelans and the international community to challenge the presidential election results. I'm Karen Shamas.
You'll find expanded coverage of world news and events at our website, voanews.com, 24 hours a day. This is VOA News. Democratic National Committee Chair Jamie Harrison said Friday Vice President Kamala Harris had secured enough votes from Democratic delegates to become the party's nominee for president. The online voting process doesn't end until Monday, but Harris's campaign marked the moment when she crossed the threshold to have the majority of delegates' votes. Washington is concerned that recent events may complicate peace efforts in the Middle East. AP correspondent Jennifer King has more.
Following strikes that killed a Hezbollah commander in Beirut and a Hamas leader in Tehran, President Biden says he's concerned that violence in the Middle East could escalate. The president spoke to reporters as he welcomed overnight 3 Americans released in a U.S.-Russia prisoner swap.
The chance for a ceasefire ruined after the assassination of Haniyeh.
It's not helped.
On Thursday, Biden said he and Vice President Kamala Harris had a very direct conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu. He says the basis for a ceasefire is in place and that the Israeli leader should move on it. Israel has vowed to kill Hamas leaders over the group's October 7th attack. I'm Jennifer King.
Hundreds were arrested in the protests across Nigeria that triggered curfews in several states. The protests that continued on Friday were mainly over food shortages and alleged bad governance.
There is practically no pushback against the government, and that is why the parliament of the citizens have come out to say no to this policy, no to that policy, and we will not stop.
A rights group says at least 9 people were killed by security forces in Nigeria during mass protests against the country's economic crisis. Few Americans trust the Secret Service after a gunman nearly killed Donald Trump. AP correspondent Donna Warder reports on a new poll.
Only 30% of Americans who answered a poll by the Associated Press and the Nork Center for Public Affairs Research say they're extremely or very confident that the Secret Service can keep presidential candidates safe from violence before the election. The poll was conducted after the July 13th attempted assassination on former president and Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump, and after the resignation of Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, who faced intense questioning at a congressional hearing. The survey found that about 70% of respondents think the Secret Service bears at least a moderate amount of responsibility for the attempt on Trump's life. I'm Donna Warder.
Rescuers in southern India's Kerala doubled down on search operations to find survivors on Friday, where a landslide killed at least 189 people, with scores still missing. Leader of India's Congress Party, Rahul Gandhi.
Today we had a meeting with the administration and the panchayat. They briefed us on exactly the number of casualties they expect, the number of houses that have been damaged, and their strategy. We have said that we are here to help in any way possible. Congress family would like to commit to build 100+ houses here.
Heavy rain in the region caused landslides on Tuesday, sending torrents of mud, water, and tumbling boulders downhill and burying or sweeping people to their deaths as they slept.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comment section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.